Hey everybody, Marty and Moog here from Mighty Car Mods. We were in Japan a little while back.
Yes, we were.
And I tell you what, we're there to pick up an RX-7, but you know what really lit my fire?
I know what it is.
Little nuggets, man.
I thought it was Okonomiyaki, or maybe the cat who spewed everywhere. Did that light your
Oh
fire?
my God, that's turned into so many memes now.
Oh my God.
That's hilarious. Anyway, the Cat Cafe vomit scenario, the Exorcist cat edition. Anyway, so at the end of the film, I know we were there to pick up the blue RX-7, amazing, iconic hero JDM car, but actually at the end of the film, we ended up in a racetrack racing a Micra and
And it was a
and an
Daihatsu Eshe. And it was just some guys that were at the track day, and we just went up and we said, can we drive your cars? And they're like,
hey.
yep.
Yeah, which was great.
So good.
But that process of driving a mad little cheap car just fully reflamed my brain onto the nugget train. No chips with that. I just want a 12-pack of nuggets on every single carriage. So,
No sauce.
no sauce. No sauce at all. No
10-pack.
sauce, no sport.
12-pack.
No Porsches.
The double 6-pack.
Just nuggets. So I decided that it's time to go buy one. I do have an idea of a car in mind. Of course, it's from Japan. And then no doubt, my friend here, you're going to buy something as well?
Think about it. Depends what you get.
Yes, well, I got
Because
something.
I want to get the same thing.
I've never had one of these before. So anyway,
I might.
I decided that I'm going to get one of these. So now I'm going to go find one and you can come with me.
I just went down via Facebook Marketplace to have a look at a Suzuki Swift. It was the cheapest one in Australia, and the dude just didn't show up. It also turns out that the car was damaged and unregistered. It was $6,000. Rego blue slip, all that stuff would have made it cost around $7,700. So I've come to a dealer and I found this one here. This one here is like, they're asking for $8,000. I never pay asking price for anything. It looks okay. There's a few things that are wrong with it. Like it's got kind of damage in the seat and stuff like this. There is an oil leak underneath it. And it looks like someone's kind of done their own electrical work, which is always worrying. But I do want to use it as a bit of a track car. So I'm going to just see if I can negotiate and do a bit of a deal. And I'll let you know how I go. They weren't really willing to negotiate on price. They're like, we don't negotiate. And I was kind of like, well, there's a whole bunch of stuff wrong with it, but they were like, we don't really negotiate. So out of there and back to look at one now that's on Facebook Marketplace. It is the cheapest one in Australia. He's asking $6,100, but it's not registered. Would need a blue slip, like properly out of rego. Looks like it's missing stuff, but gonna go and have a look now and see if I can get myself a mad cheap track nugget. All right, so this is it, the Suzuki Swift Sport. Apparently the owner said that it had a Royal Nasho sticker on it, which is pretty exciting at some point. Missing some exhaust, bit of a hit there. It's had a hit there as well. This tyre is kind of down to the threads in there. Overall, just a bit rough, like the panels kind of aren't fitting properly. I mean, look, it's a cheap car and you'd expect that, but this one here, it does seem like it's had a pretty tough life. About 230,000 Ks. But the biggest problem is that the airbag lights are on, which wouldn't really make a difference if you're going to be tracking the car, but the problem is getting a blue slip when you've got airbag lights on is actually a bit of a problem. So, and it's smelly, as you can imagine. Oh, well, surprise, surprise, the dealer gave me a call back and said he was willing to do a deal. Here's the thing, because there's everyone wants automatic cars now, manual cars are actually harder to sell and they're harder to move. And so I got a call, they were willing to do a deal, I got some money off, and I'm now the proud owner of that Suzuki Swift Nugget. Price, it ended up being around $7,000, and that is what the other one that I was going to look at, that's what that one was going to cost by the time I did blue slip and registration. That I worked out would be around about $7,700. This was less than that, so it's actually a really good result. A bunch of stuff that obviously needs to be done. I mean, the tyres on it are just no-name tyres. I have no idea what they are. It needs a bit of a clean, but inside is actually pretty good. I'll give you a look. So down here, these are just no-name tyres, but body actually looks pretty good. And inside, it needs a little bit of a clean. Like it's only been in the yard for about 3 days because cars just move so quickly these days, but it's got a little head unit on it. Seat's got kind of a little bit of damage here. That seems to be really common actually with a lot of the different Swifts that I saw and looked at on the net, but this whole interior is going to be going in the bin anyway because it's going to be a mad little track nugget. So it does have some service history and stuff like that. It has had actually a kind of fairly substantial service history, which is good. All right, in the back, it is a little bit wet down here, and it's full of these little Orbeez or something. Is getting wet in here a thing? Is that common? Do you own a Suzuki Swift? If so, can you let me know? And I would love to know. No spare tyre. You get this kind of goop. I've got a troubled relationship with that goop. I prefer a space saver when I can. Interestingly, every single video about these cars refers to them as the most underrated car of all time. I mean, is it the most underrated car of all time? I've always thought they kind of looked cool, but I've never been interested enough to actually commit my money to buying one, of course. But when I was in Japan with Turbos and Temples 3 and we were driving around, we had that K12 Micra and the Daihatsu Eshe. I was just like, you know what? This is where it's at. This is fun. It's very, very cheap, particularly, I mean, we talk about 86s and BRZs being cheap. They're still maybe 15 or 20 grand. You can get cars like this. Well, $6,000 was the cheapest one, and that's the one that you just saw. So not that, but around $7,000 is possible. People are asking between $7,000 and $12,000. It just turns out I've pretty much got the cheapest one. We'll see why once we get it up on the hoist, maybe, or maybe not. But the thing is, this is all you need for fun. There's 3 pedals, there's a gear stick, it's naturally aspirated, no filthy turbos to wreck the purity. I think it's just great, and I cannot wait to modify it. I'm actually really, really excited about it. I think it's going to be rad. But I'm fairly certain that once Marty sees this, I mean, I've known the man for a very, very long time, and what I can tell you is the moment that I turn up with this, he's going to try and find something for around the same money to just go and beat me. At least he'll try to. But can you beat Swift Sport Power? Can you, people? I don't think so. Does anybody else like seeing how the previous owner has set the EQ on their head unit? What the hell were you thinking? This would sound absolutely garbage. I never ever leave with a second-hand car without getting insurance first. Shannon's Insurance has been a long-term sponsor of Mighty Car Mods, and they are insurance for motoring enthusiasts. They do cars, they do motorbikes, they do home and contents, and they'll also do your daily drive. This car will not be a daily drive. It's getting turned into a kind of a track nugget, a track thrasher, but it is insured with Shannon's, and if you need to get a policy or you just want to get a quote, then check out the Shannon's website. All right, first drive. I've never ever driven a Suzuki Swift or a Suzuki Swift Sport before, but oh, it spins tires in first and second gear. The tires, by the way, on this car are a brand I've never heard of. How's the car feel? It feels tight. It feels fairly quiet at the moment and fairly sedate, but when you accelerate, brakes are good. I mean, look, I'm used to driving fast cars, so what I can say is that if you're going to compare this to a car that's quick, and I mean even compared to a Golf GTI, this is not even close. It's not even close at all. But what I would say is that it was going to Japan during Turbos and Temples 3 that really made me aware of how important this kind of class of car is. I never took these cars seriously at all when I was younger. You know, I was kind of growing up driving VL Commodores, 180SXs, GTIRs, stuff like that. And I never liked Suzuki Swifts or Suzuki Swift Sports. I mean, to be honest, I'll be totally honest with you, I thought they were laughable. Actually funny. I would see them and go, what a joke of a car. But what I've realized as I've got a little bit older is actually these cars have so much to offer. And when we were chatting with the guys at Mazda, and they were saying, you know, it's not always about being angry about driving, it's actually about smiling. This is a car that makes you smile. This has come in pretty much as the cheapest Suzuki Swift Sport that there is that I could find anywhere in New South Wales. The only one that was cheaper is the one that you've just seen, which was unregistered and unregisterable in its current format, so I'm not even going to include that. So I have ended up with the cheapest version of this car that is possible to buy. And what do you get for your money? It's a 1.6 litre 4-cylinder engine. It's a 5-speed manual. There's 3 pedals. Can it go fast around corners? Yes, it can. Can it go fast in straight lines? Not really. Not kind of without kind of a substantial amount of work. It's a filthy banana yellow, which I got out of respect to the Love Hotel, the Hotel Banana in Japan, because every time I look at this car, I can remember the Banana Hotel and being denied. And I'm just really, really excited to be in a Suzuki Swift. I've seen them around for years and years and years, never driven one. Now I have one. I'm very excited. Let me tell you a little bit more about this car. The Suzuki Swift Sport actually looks pretty good in a tiny, functional Japanese kind of way. Compared to the normal Swift, the Sport version slaps in a bunch of tasty mods, including a specially built 1.6 litre high-revving 4-cylinder engine with VVT, forged pistons and uprated valve springs making 123 brake horsepower, or 92 kilowatts at the engine, or about 9 kilowatts at the wheels. There's factory-lowered suspension, stiffer shocks, a body kit, twin exhausts, special sport seats, and the car was designed to be the basis of a Suzuki World Rally car. Coming in at just over 1,000 kilos, it makes enough power and is light enough to be a fun all-rounder. In fact, some people have been as bold to say the car represents a kind of purity that's reminiscent of the original Golf GTI. Either way, in a world of increasing autonomy, boring cars and the extinction of manuals, a fun cheap car like this that was originally $25,000 can deliver a lot of smiles per mile without breaking the bank. And most importantly, there are loads of mods you can throw at it from Japan, which is exactly what I'm going to do. Alright, so that's a little bit of information about the car. Next step, I just got to go give it a proper clean, people, because it's a little bit nasty in here. And then we'll throw it up on the hoist, have a look, see what we've got, see if there's any problems, and then let the modifications begin. So I got the Swift up on the hoist, and the main thing that I want to see is, well, that would be why the car smells like oil after you drive it, because there is oil dripping down onto the exhaust. Look how wet it is down here. There's the filter. Looks like it's actually coming from the oil filter housing. All right, I knew Marty wasn't far away. I told him that I was up here with my new car. Yeah.
Hey.
How you doing, mate?
Yes. It's so yellow.
Hey, mate. How you doing?
It's so yellow.
It's so yellow, isn't it?
Oh, I love it.
It's great.
What's leaking out of it?
So here's the oil leak. But that said, they were asking, look, they were asking $8,000. I ended up getting it, like, you know, before taxes and transfers and stuff, $6,800.
Yep.
But there's oil leaking out from up there. That's an $8 seal. So if I can fix it for $8, then I'm going to say that's good negotiating, but I don't know what else is wrong with it. It drives great, feels great.
I know a wreckage you can get a Suzuki engine off.
Oh, stop it.
But I reckon if you pour oil down the seals of this, that'll fix the oil leak at the bottom. Why is it yellow?
It's yellow because I wanted a yellow car. Dude, it's straight. Look how straight it is.
Is it because of Hotel Banana, be honest?
Yeah, of course it is,
isn't it?
Yeah, it's Hotel Banana car. It's great. I want to get a sticker that's like Hotel Banana, like back entry or taxi service or something like that. There's a small knock.
The parking sensors work really well.
Yeah, and the tires, dude. It spins the wheels in first and second.
Excellent.
Which is pretty good. Just super simple.
Oh, I love it, dude.
No forklift damage under here because it's Australian delivered. There's a little knock from back here, but I mean, all of this is going in the bin anyway. So that's the thing. I'm not really too worried about it, to be honest.
Oh, it's good, hey? I mean, they are simple, but they work. They're so popular. You just see them everywhere. It looks pretty clean. It looks like there's heaps of room, isn't there, to work on everything.
Yeah, and hopefully lots of room for mad tyre choices as well.
It's had front shocks, but maybe the back ones look original. So maybe the back ones are knocking. You know what I mean? Like they're just old and worn out.
Yeah.
But the front ones have been done at some point.
Unlike Volkswagens, they didn't have to recall the cars because of these. But yeah, so it just kind of looks like exactly what you'd expect. But there's nothing else that I can see leaking from the top.
Dude, there's no leaks, hey. So that leak from the bottom has to be that oil filter because there's nothing below the rocker cover. Like that's just like sort of dusty stuff. It's not actually oil.
I couldn't see anything leaking from anywhere. Like I was actually surprised for a car that's done almost 200,000 Ks. I'm actually surprised how good everything is.
And little things like there isn't really evidence of crash damage. That's You know what I mean? Like it all looks pretty honest.
I'm off to Supercheap Auto to get everything that I need to repair and service my new Nugget. I'm going to be doing a lot of modifications to this car, but I want to make sure it's running properly and not leaking everywhere first. If I can fix it myself on the cheap, that means more money for mods. This stuff is absolutely awesome, and I'll be using it for my first job to clean up under the car so I can see exactly where the leak is coming from. After that, it's time to drop the oil and the filter. What I thought was going to be a quick, simple fix is actually turning out to be way more complex than I'd anticipated.
The oil filter relocation thing also has a cooler on it that has coolant running into it because it's so close to the Cat.
Which is different to everything else out there.
So you've got to remove this bit of the exhaust, then you've got to remove the heat shield, and now we have to remove the air conditioning so that we can access one bolt that's on top of that.
It's either take the aircon off or take the headers off, and I reckon the headers is a way harder job. I mean, and it's one you'd do later if you're going to upgrade them, right?
Yeah.
Like, why would you do it now if you don't have to?
Yeah, I mean, we will be doing it eventually, but just don't want to be leaking in the meantime.
Oh man, so tight.
On a normal Suzuki Swift, this is a way easier job, but access on the Sport model makes it absolutely horrible, and it's not surprising that nobody else attempted to fix this before it was sold. The O-ring is hard as nails, so it's definitely the culprit, but I got 2 more for $12, which means hopefully it's a $6 fix. This one actually feels like rubber, which is a good thing, so with a small smattering of oil, it goes back into the oil relocation housing, and then I'll carefully put it back up onto the engine, making sure I don't pinch it on anything, before I then get my spaghetti fingers back in to reattach it. I won't know if this has been a successful fix until the car is full of oil and running again. So I'm putting on a new filter and then filling up with Castrol Edge with fluid titanium. This is the only oil we use and perfect for a car like this little Swift, which will be spending most of its life being driven to the limit on racetracks. Castrol Edge have been supporting Mighty Car Mods for over 10 years. I'm also going to change the cabin filter because this is a cheap and easy way of making sure you're not breathing in airborne particles of human slime. Our friend Paulie showed us this cool trick of adding an air freshener to the filter to keep the inside of the car melon fresh. You can get these from the Mighty Car Mods website, shipped worldwide.
So there it is, everybody. That is my mad new Banana Edition Suzuki Swift. Hotel banana taxi, basically. It's absolutely awesome. I can't wait to relax my body banana in it. What do you think, Martin?
I love it. I love it. It's got me seriously vibing.
I told everybody, I just told everybody that as soon as I get this here, that you would be on car sales.
It's a 1.6.
It's a 1.6, which is exactly what you're doing, right?
Search by cheapest.
Okay. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this episode. That's my new car. I'm very, very excited about it. Next episode, we're going to start some work on it. I got some really, really exciting things planned for this car. A couple of things I've never done before, so it's going to be epic. And no doubt, Marty's going to have something as well. Have you already found something? You're in the, yeah, all right. So Marty's already on the car sales. He's already looking for something. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. And of course, if you want to support the show, you can go to mightycarmods.com. We got lots of mad merch and stuff available there right now. And do you own a Suzuki Swift Sport? Do you have any information, some mad tips that I could use? Or are you a Suzuki Swift workshop in Sydney, somewhere you do sports things on them? Oh my God, he's already done it. All right, see you next time, everyone. Bye.